Hello everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I am sharing a layout for Simple Stories and I'm using the beautiful Simple Vintage Lemon Twist collection. Now this collection was released last year, so that's 2021, and it was so popular that it sold out almost instantly. I loved it last year, and this year it has been reprinted due to popular demand. So here I am again with Lemon Twist. I made some layouts with it last year too, so for more inspiration, check those out. They'll be back in, say, summertime 2021. Yeah, this is such a beautiful collection. It's one of my favourite ever simple vintage ones. I know the vintage collections aren't for everyone, but this is such modern vintage. It's not like it's, whenever I think of vintage, I think of old brown sepia, dark, not great. But these simple vintage collections are gorgeous. They are bringing vintage into the 21st century. So I absolutely love them. This one is definitely one of my favorites. I just love the zesty colours, it's just all very, very fabulous. So I'm delighted to be able to use it again. So I wanted to use this gingham paper. You can see on the right I have a real love for gingham, but on the other hand I also wanted to use the journaling elements paper, and I thought that there's so many lovely things on there. I tend not to use them on layouts for the purpose they're intended, which is to write journaling on. I might use one, but there's a whole sheet of them. So I just wondered if there was a way I could incorporate, not necessarily all of them, but a lot of them onto one page. So I spent some time cutting them all up, and I have then distressed the edges of each and arranged them onto the layout. I'm going to use a piece of the gingham too, across the middle, and basically, I'm just building up lots and lots and lots of paper layers using the journal elements paper, but cut into its specific squares. Well, they're not really squares, rectangles. So they're all different shapes, which is what's pretty cool, because it means that you get a real varied look. Yeah, so I've just, spent some time cutting them up and arranging them onto the layout. Now I've got to this point, I'm really happy with how the shape is looking. Of course, then I need to stick it and get it all stuck onto the background. But if I move it, I'll never rearrange it the same way. So anyway, I'm going to have to figure that one out, but I decided to cut a large piece of the gingham. So normally I'd use it as a frame around the outside, or I'd use it as a background, but on this occasion I'm going to actually use it as a base for everything that's all those layers. I'm going to stick it in a strip going horizontally across the page. But before I do that, I need to not have moved all of my layers that I've so delicately placed in position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack them all together. So that's what I'm doing right now. You can see I'm just lifting a bit up, placing a bit of tape underneath it, and then I have one large piece that I can pull together. Now at this point I could really attach it all together, but I actually want to do some stitching around some of those journal cards. So I'm just seeing what that looks like with the gingham behind it, and I love it. So I'm going to get that stuck in place, but then I'm going to take apart my layers and go and put some machine stitching around some of them. So I'm going to take a photo of the layout before I do that, so that I know how to put everything back in position once I've done the sewing. And then I can get it all stuck down. So there you go. That is how I attempted that. Sometimes I put a whole layout together and then it takes me ages to start sticking because I need to move it all off in order to get everything stuck down. So it is good that I persevered at this point and stuck them all together, and also took a photo, and then I can move them all off, do the stitching, and then piece it all back together again in the way that it looks now. So yeah, there we go. Right, I am just going to mount my photo onto another journaling card. So that's from the 3x4 elements paper. I'm going to distress the edges. I have distressed the edges of all of the journal bits as well, or the journal elements, I think they're called. Yes, I'm just going to take everything apart now and go and do some machine stitching. So I just felt that some of the journaling cards needed to have some machine stitching around the edges, and to make them more defined, because some of them are light in colour, or solid colours, and I just felt that they would benefit from a black border. Yeah, but before I do that, I'm going to add a small amount of ink to the background. So I've recently got into Distress Oxides. I'm not using them all the time, but I'm using them more than I use anything else. And I just thought it would be nice to extend the colour of a couple of the journaling cards, top and bottom there. So I've pulled out, I think it's Squeezed Lemonade and the patina one, vintage patina, I'm not quite sure. I'm not very good with the names. So yellow and green. So I've just added a little bit of colour to those two sections there, which just extends it nicely. And I like how that looks. I really like how that looks. I must do this more often. Yeah, so I'm loving how that looks, and I'm going to add some splatters in those areas too. I love the way the oxides pick up beautifully on the grain on the paper. So I think rather than paint obviously seeps into everything, whereas the ink you can really still see the grain, which is nice. Okay, so I flick forward now, and I have done my machine stitching, and I think everything is now stuck in place. So now I need to start embellishing the layout. So I always reach for the foam stickers. In every Simple Stories collection, there are a set of foam stickers. They have titles in, but also icons. It's a real good mix of things. It's not just words and titles, it's icons too. So you get lots of extra embellishments on them. And I do love foam. One, it sticks really well, and two, you get a whole other dimensional look on the layout. So I then, when I was looking through embellishments to use on this layout, I then came across the Chipboard Frames. I don't know why I hadn't thought about them to begin with, and then I was like, I have to use this frame. I just love it with all those lemons sticking out of the side. It's just gorgeous, and the pop of black too. But it was a long frame with 3 photo apertures, and I've only got the 1 photo. So I felt that I needed to back that frame with something in order to be able to use it, because being able to see through the other apertures and all the layers underneath, it doesn't quite look right. So I thought maybe I could back it in the gingham, but that I wasn't happy with that. So she went looking for something a bit plainer, and I came across the Simple Vintage Basics paper pack, the Lemon Twist Basics paper pack, which has almost like a white, I think it might be called linen or something like that. Yeah, I just cut some squares from that, and I've backed my frame using those. There we go, and that looks perfect, and that just gives me the perfect place to then put my title above my photo. So yeah, loving that. I think and that was a complete happy accident. Normally I would plan a frame. If I'm going to use a frame like that, I would normally plan that in from the start. It's not something you can normally add partway through. So I was delighted to be able to see that and fall in love with it, and then actually use it, rather than having planned it from the beginning. Okay, so going to continue with some embellishments now. I really liked this long sticker from the sticker sheet. It says Sweet Life. I love these border style stickers. So I've just stuck that above the gingham paper, and then I'm just going to chop off the bit that's overhanging on the left side. Over on the right, adding another big sticker from the sticker sheet that says Good Thoughts, and has some flowers on it as well. And then I've added a whole bunch of foam shapes already. So I've got hearts and butterflies and bees. And then I'm adding some more stickers, so lemon stickers and little phrases. So I've got be happy and add more zest. Yeah, this is all coming together really nicely. I just love creating with this collection. I loved it last year and this year as well. I'm loving it as well. These 2 layouts that I've made for today, there's another process video, just came together so quickly and easily. It's just such a beautiful, lovely collection to work with, and it's fairly generic. You could use it for any outdoor photos. It doesn't have to have lemons. So I think outdoors is good, but also indoor photos probably would work well too. Yeah, this photo, we just sat at the park. It was a lovely sunny day. We've taken our little boy to the park, so he's playing and we're sat there just chilling out together, watching him, and yeah, took a selfie. So yeah, lovely. So the blue background doesn't really go with the rest of the layout colours, but I could have turned it in black and white. That probably would have been better. But yeah, it still works well even with that pop of blue. So yeah, so just making sure everything is fully stuck down. Quite often I don't stick my photos down properly until the very end, so I've just added some foam pads behind it there and got that stuck in place. Coming in with some of the decorative brads now. The decorative brads have chipboard on them as well, so chipboard shapes. So I've used some of those and the brads too. So I've got a little gingham one and a yellow one with lemon on it. So yeah, they're just nice. Again, I love to have different textures on my layouts. So to bring in the metal is nice. And we've got the chipboard, we've got stickers, we've got foam. So yeah, I have a whole bunch of different textures on there, and ink as well, so, and stitching, so lots and lots of different textures going on. So just coming in with some black paint splatters now, top right and bottom left corners where I put the ink basically. Yeah, I'm loving how that's looking, and that is now all finished. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed seeing how this layout came together. I really enjoyed making it. I say it was a bit of an accident the way it kind of came together. I didn't really start with a specific idea, but I love how easy it is to make. So thank you very much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for Simple Stories using Simple Vintage Lemon Twist.